Good afternoon and welcome to the Naomh Club here in Newtonstewart in County Tyrone. As you see, all the officials and the captains getting the official photograph taken before this 2024 Ulster Minor Club final. That is the Carryduff captain there, Maeve Napier, and she's two sisters on the team with her as well, and her father Noel is part of the management along with Jared Sargent. They are going for two in a row, and that has only ever been done once before, and it has been done by their closest and nearest neighbours, Breda, in County Down as well. There they are in Belfast, but it is in the County Down side of Belfast. So you're very welcome. The sun is out here. This storm only lasted until last night, thank goodness, and now it's a beautiful day here, and it's quite amazing one day later that we are having this game here in early December in these perfect conditions. The pitch is pretty good. Again, for the time of year, a little bit slippy over on the far sideline there. It's it's understandable down in front of the stand there, but the sun is bright, it is out, and it is very welcome, adding a little bit of heat. And it is over to the right, so where the Carryduff players were, so it's shining down towards the left, as you see there. So it'll be in the eyes of the goalkeeper in those goals to our left. You're looking at the Donegal players warming up there before the game, and that is on the right of the screen there. You just see him right over on the right. That's Tony Boyle, Donegal full forward, All-Ireland winner from 1992, and he has two daughters on the team, the captain Ulita and number 14 Tony Boyle, Tony spelled T-O-N-I, and she's only 15 years old. So Donegal in this final for the first time. There was a Donegal team in the very first final back on the 2nd of January 2012, and that was Termon. They were in the final against St Paul's, who were the host team for that tournament. That was the very first time it was played. Geraldine McLaughlin was on that team, Emer Gallagher, and they lost that day to St Paul's. Since then, I haven't found a Donegal team in the final, but I think there might have been one around 2015 or 14, because I know there was a final played in Celtic Park, but the details are quite hard to find. It was Shane O'Neill's, I think, who maybe won that day. It might have been a Donegal team involved then. But anyway, no Donegal club or team has ever won this particular tournament, whereas it has gone to Down quite a few times through Breda, who've won it 3 times, including, as I say, a 2 in a row. And they have won it 3 times. Carryduff have won it once, so they will be trying today to emulate their neighbours from Breda. It would be quite remarkable, actually, if 5 of the titles since 2012 have gone to those 2 clubs in that small little area there on the County Down side of Belfast. Well, quite a big area, I guess, but you know what I mean. They're neighbours there, and they're quite cut off from the rest of Down, but it is County Down, and they are right up there beside each other. So great work being done on those 2 clubs, obviously. I think we could maybe look at the teams now to give you them. And we will start with the Carryduff team, and I will tell you as well that we are on Facebook and on YouTube, and on both of those you can leave messages there on the Facebook or on the live chat, and I will keep an eye on those and I'll check them in a second. But first, let's look at that Carryduff team. Ciamh Lavery, well, she was the goalkeeper last year as well. She is a niece of the Down All-Ireland goalkeeper from 1991 and 1994, Neil Collins. Aisling Wasacek is at 2. She was one of 9 players in this Carryduff starting 15 who also started the final last year, so they have real continuity there. Roisin McKenna is at number 3. She's actually a student at UCD. Emer McReynolds at 4. Maria McLornan at 5 is a sister of Ciara at 12. Maeve Napier is at 6. She's only 15, and her sister is Maeve at 8, and Emer is another sister at number 13. Whether she starts at number 13 in that position is debatable and unlikely, to be honest. Last year they were set up quite defensively, and they didn't have players in their traditional positions, shall we say, and she was actually named at number 7 last year, Emer, so I expect her to move out the field, and quite a few of them as well. Anna McCardle is at 7, and then at midfield you have Sophie Kerr. She was in the subs last year, she's in now. 10 is Grace Loughran. She, along with Maeve Napier, are at Queen's University. 11 is Isa McCarran, and she's related to the great late James McCartan from the 1960s Down team, and she would be a niece of the James McCartan that most of you will know from more recent times, and 1991 and 1994 All-Ireland winner. That's Isa. She's only 16, and I'm told she's a terrific young talent. 12, as I say, is Ciara McLornan. 14, Cara Donnelly. She scored a goal in last year's final. And 15 is Ellie Sargent. That is the Carryduff team. Excuse me. Let's go on now to look at the Dunlow team and Clochan Liath manager Tony Boyle. Anya Walsh in goal. She's only 15. She saved a penalty in the semi-final. 2 Shola Ward, 3 Ellie Ward, and her brother Aaron is fullback for the club seniors, and he's just been called up by Jim McGuinness into the Donegal seniors, by the way. So 2 good fullbacks in the family there. 4 Isabel Sweeney, her dad would be Raymond Ray, I'm sure a lot of you would know him, and her sister is Sophia. And at number 5, actually there's a change. Erin O'Donnell does not start, instead 18 Claire Diver is in, so she comes in. That's a 1 change for Dunlow. Number 6, Nicole Bonner Gillespie, another 15-year-old. 7, Alana O'Donnell, and by the way there's 3 O'Donnells here and they're not related at all. Yulita Boyle the captain, Ava Caulfield at 9, Alicia Boyle 10, Emma Wallace 11, they're both 16. 12 Rihanna McCready, 13 Mia O'Donnell, another 15-year-old, Tony Boyle only 15 as well, and 15 Ellie McGarvey. To be honest, I think the age might be a factor today because Dunlow seemed quite a young team compared to Carryduff. Now the anthem with Eoghan Boyle from Dunlow. Beautiful version of the anthem from Eoghan Boyle from Dunlow, and it is Dunlow in the final against Carryduff. It is available live and free to watch on Ulster Ladies YouTube. Julie Grant is already on there and she says, "Come on Carryduff girls," and it's also live on Ulster Ladies Facebook. I'm just checking there as well that everything is okay, and it seems to be, so we are almost ready to go with this game. It is a very special competition. It's only been going since 2012, and it's thanks to Brian Coyle at the St Paul's Club in Belfast for getting it going. They had the minor tournament there for the boys from 1981 or 82, I think it was. And then he said, well, why not have it for the girls as well? And it's a terrific competition. It's not done in any of the other provinces, sadly enough, so there's no game after this, but it's been a great competition in Ulster over the years. St Paul's beat Termon in the first one. Killishall from Tyrone then won. Shane O'Neill's with Amy Mackin, Eastern Gales, Breda won 3, Errigal Kieran beat Clan Erin and won, and you've seen what Errigal Kieran and Clan Erin have gone on to do, especially Clan Erin in the last couple of years. Carrickmore won 1, of course, with the fantastic Gormley. Lurgan Ladies won 1, Carryduff won 1, and you've had captains like Anya Tubridy, Maria Canavan, Leisha Duffy, along with the Ella Durkin, their joint captains of Breda 1 year, Louise Kelly, Moya Feehan, Aoife Murphy, Caitlin Gormley, Carrickmore, and last year Shan O'Neill from Carryduff. So that the history. In the semi-finals, Dunlow beat Maharat Clune, or rather they beat Maharat Clune in the quarter-finals, and they beat Maharat in the semis. They scored 212 and 220, big scores. But Carryduff for me are the favourites today, going by the fact that they simply won it last year. They have 9 starters from that game last year, and also the fact that their ages are a bit older. They seem to have an older group, and that can count at this level. They have actually 3 or 4 players, I think, who are at university, and they do have their young players as well, but that's the way I'm reading it anyway. Let's get underway with the referee Philip Conway from Armagh and see what happened. You see number 18 out there in the middle of the field. That is Claire Diver, came in for number 5, but she's starting at midfield, and this is Yulita Boyle, the captain of Dunlow, taking the charge towards the Carryduff goal. So Dunlow playing from left to right, but that ball popped up and not popped up accurately. Instead it's taken by Anna McCardle for Carryduff. And last year they had very defensive tactics which worked perfectly for them and that they won the match, but It was an interesting tactical battle, let's put it like that. I wonder will Carryduff be the same today? And now I see Dunlow actually have an extra player back there. Emer McReynolds is free, so they maybe will try to replicate those tactics. That's a good ball in though, and it's Isa McCarran. I told you she's a fine player, and the ball played in now to Ellie Sargent. Nearly went out of play, but they've got it back. And Carryduff looking to get the first score of the game, and I think that's the number 10, but it's gone wide from Grace Loughran. Good crowd on the stand on the far side, and a really good setup here at Naomh and in Newtonstewart in Tyrone. Not many pitches open this time of year, but as I say, the pitch looks in great nick, and we're lucky the storm is gone. Now the kick out is from Anya Walsh, and that's a high one, and there's two Carryduff players under it, but it is Emma Wallace who comes away with it for Dunlow, but the solo manages to go over her head, and she may have lost possession there. No, she does really well to keep possession and get her free. So hard to see the pattern just yet. I'm looking off camera and I can see Carryduff's 6 and Naomh appear, and their number 4 just sitting marking an area, if you like, not marking players, so zonal there. So they're going to set up, I think, similar to last year and try and create a sort of a shield there, and Ulita Boyle is going to try and run through them and does that. It's a second run from her to try and go through them, and she has drawn a free this time, which looks like it will be taken by Mia O'Donnell, who's only 15. Bit of an ask though, with a bit of a distance out. She might be looking to go shorter here. Don't see anybody making a movement for her, so they maybe have confidence in her and scoring from this distance. There's no wind at all to talk of. I did walk the pitch before, and there's a little bit of a breeze going from left to right, so if there is, it's in her favour, but I don't think it's there at the moment. She took that really well. Oh my goodness, that's a smashing kick from there. Brilliant score by Mia O'Donnell to get first blood for Dunlow in this third minute of the game. A 1 point lead for them. Brilliantly taken, and that'll settle her and settle her team. Let's look at the kick out now as Kevin Lavery comes out to take it, and that's a 50-50 one really, but who's going to get it on the break? That's the important thing. Carryduff get it. Their midfielder Maiden Appear and captain sends it forward to Isa McCarran. Nice little layoff to Emer McReynolds, and that is Emer Napier. Did think she'd be out the field a little bit, wearing 13, and she is, being followed by Emma Wallace. Sun has just come out a little bit brighter. It's going to be trickier for Dunlow, who are playing into the sun, which is behind the goals to the right. But a good bright start by Dunlow, and they seem to be more than a match for Carryduff so far. Early days, of course, and again I'm looking down right, and Carryduff have just 2 players, one sort of sitting centre half back and one full back, and they're not marking anyone, so they're very keen to get that structure set up again right through the middle to stop raids through the middle. And then they'll just drift across and wait for the runs, but I'm sure Dunlow know all about that, and they're trying to do something about it. And maybe, well, there's a player goes flying, no free awarded, and this is Emma Wallace now for Dunlow. So they'll be patient, and they obviously can score from distance. Have a few good shooters, and that nearly bounced over the goalkeeper's head. It's all a bit messy in there, but Carryduff managed to survive. And the tactic from Dunlow, if it's a tactic, seems to be run at them. And maybe that will work, but it is early days, just 4 minutes gone. 2024 Ulster Minor Club final. Good strong work by the captain for Carryduff, but runs into trouble and is dispossessed. That's great work for Dunlow. And what can they do? Alicia Boyle, their number 10, has it and gets it to Claire Diver. The centre half-back is Nicole Bonner-Gillespie. Well, they are very mobile and fast, aren't they? Here comes Ulita Boyle again. Well, they are running and asking questions. Then they run into that rear guard there, that structure that Carryduff have, and that's where Lurgan ladies came unstuck last year. They couldn't find ways through, but Bonner Gillespie is still going, but it's an individual run and she's run into trouble, and yeah, she's been blown for over carry, and that's the problem when you run into those cul-de-sacs, and that's what Carryduff want you to do, and they get their free. So it's going to be that kind of game again. They're going to need to be patient, and now Carryduff are going to try and hit them on the break, if you like. This is Emer Napier. This is Cara Donnelly, and off she goes. A nice drop of the shoulder inside. She's a speedy player, and now a nice drop to the left. It's great play by Cara, and gives a nice little pass in as well, and they're looking to get their first score of the game. Ellie Sargent is 15, and that's well taken, and that came from the turnover at one end, and then the transition up the field involving the captain, Cara Donnelly, and very nicely finished at the end by Ellie Sargent. First score of the game from play. It's 1-1. I will welcome your comments, as I say, on the Facebook and on the live chat on YouTube. On your watch, goes short with it and gets possession. There's a tug in there from Cara Donnelly, which the referee, I'm just keeping an eye on him, he has ticked for. The play just been held up for a second where the referee notes that, I think, and now off we go again, back to the goalkeeper. So Dunlow trying to get possession from the kickouts, and she has Shola Ward over here, number 2, but they're going short, and that's probably a good idea in these conditions. Make sure of the passes. Tackling back is Ellie Sargent on Tony Boyle, but Tony keeps going, and this is a feature of Dunlow so far. They're very adept and comfortable at running with the ball as individuals, but here they run into the blanket defence, if you like, from Carryduff, and this is where the problem is. They're running into trouble. How do they find ways through this defence? You see there's 2 or 3 players. Well, the referee had given advantage, and he now brings it back for that free. So again, I'm just going to check that everything's okay online, and it seems to be on both Facebook and YouTube. Now, this girl, Mia O'Donnell, put over a cracker a minute ago. I think it was a little bit closer, but also a little bit to the right. She fancies it again. I don't think that's going over, but it could cause trouble, and it could end up in the net, and it has ended up in the net. Is it allowed? Is the referee going? No, he's not. He's let it go. It is a goal. Let's have a look at it again. Mia O'Donnell just dropped it in there, and I'm going to try and catch the number on my screen here for the scorer. It's quite hard to tell, actually. Maybe someone will tell me, but it wasn't 10. I don't know what number it was he got the goal, but it's a goal, and that was really opportunistic, and Carryduff will be very annoyed with themselves there. They had a lot of players back, but now they have a chance going up to the left hand side, and the ball just played into space, and when they have so many players back, there's a lot of room up front, and that's how they profited last year as well. They get it into Cara Donnelly, and now she's through behind the full back, but it's held up now, and great defensive work, but Cara persists and might still get a score out of it, and she does. Well, that is the threat that they have. Last year she was centre half forward, now she's playing nearer the goal, and that pace that she has in the space that is created by drawing Dunlow into them has helped them as well, and Cara gets over a good point, and that's a good response for Carryduff. But a very interesting game so far. I wonder if you agree. Feel free to leave a message or a comment there on the live chat. We think the goal might have been number 12 for Dunlow. In that case it would be Rihanna McGreedy. It was definitely opportunistic, and a good way for the underdogs, if you like, the new girls in this final, to get a goal to settle them. So we've had a good point and a goal. Referee has given advantage there again. As you see, the hand is up, and now he gives it. So 1-1 for the Donegal team. 2 points for the defending champions. Emer McReynolds takes that one and gets it back from her fullback, actually, Roisin McKenna, all the way up there. So they have defenders up there. Whether they've just moved around the numbers or not, I'm not quite sure. This is Ciara McLaurin. Decent effort that, actually. Keeper needs to watch that, and she does. Anya Walsh, and just feeds it out. Yeah, numbers are, well, it's a bit of a cliche these days, but they can mean nothing. There was a Dublin under-16 team a few years ago, and their numbers were deliberately all back to front. Made a bit of a mockery of the whole thing. Now, what's the referee given there? Laces need to be tied. The referee wants us to get on with the game. She's getting someone to help her. It's not easy when you have the gloves on and it's cold. She's okay to go now. And we will restart with a sideline ball for Carryduff. Good response by them. They've scored a few really nice points from play, and a great threat, and there's a threat through the middle. They get it to Emer McReynolds. Oh, off the crossbar, so unlucky. Well, she went all the way up from the back there and got a great connection in that, and it looked like it was going to go into the top corner. Very, very unlucky for Carryduff in the 10th minute of the game there. It looked like it was bound for the net. She got in a pocket of space there. Dunlow's defence have done really well, but they really left her on that occasion. This is Claire Diver for Dunlow as they now get an attack of their own, and I think that's over carrying again, and that's been a feature of the game as well so far. Carryduff getting 2 and 3 players around the player on the ball and turning it over. So the game still just settling down. Carryduff unbeaten in Ulster now for 2 years. A lot of good experiences, and they were in the prelim this year. They beat Clan Erin in that 110 to 19. That was a battle for them. That's a good ball in by Ellie Sargent, looking for her full forward, Donnelly. That's definitely the go-to player, and she's very, very nippy and creative in there as well. And you just feel that there's definitely a goal threat there, and they are slicing through more than Dunloe are, although Dunloe had a goal, but that was somewhere free. Carryduff just starting to take control, I feel. This is Roisin McKenna. She looks for a bit of support, gets it from her captain, and is confident enough to give it to her, even though there's a player on her. Diver is still with her. Diver maybe was brought in to do that job, to mark the captain, and she's done it, but there was advantage, and now it's going to be brought back for a free. But yes, I imagine Diver was brought in for that job. Well, she certainly got close, but she's also given away a free. So just to be clear, you have a choice of where you want to watch this. It's on YouTube, but it's also on Facebook. So if you're in one or the other, it's Ulster Ladies Facebook and Ulster Ladies on YouTube. Some people prefer to watch it on YouTube. That's a good dig, and it needs to be watched again by the goalkeeper, and it was. And that's a little bit, what's the word, complacent maybe from Carryduff, dropping it in there a couple of times. They also hit the bar though, so they've had a lot of goal threats in the last 5 or 6 minutes. But this is a good break now for Dunloe. But again, look at the Carryduff players just sitting, waiting. They always have an extra player there to come in, and Dunloe have coped with that on this occasion though. But again, the attack seems to have just stalled, and that's exactly what the Carryduff tactic is set up to do. And then you have 2 or 3 players here trying to get near the ball, but Carryduff just having a few players, as I'm watching off camera again, that are just sitting in there that will just step in to add the extra player to put the pressure. And Dunloe then need to meet that challenge, and they need to move it as quickly as they can, and that's what they're doing. But as you see, they're not making progress in a forward way. They're going sideways at the minute. Eva Caulfield was number 9, gets it to Diver now, and they're just going from side to side. And then when they try to break through, there's 2 or 3, 4 players there. They need to find another way of getting through. This is Mae O'Donnell, and there comes the tackle in now from the centre half forward, Isa McCarran, getting back there, and the Carryduff system prevailing. This is McKenna now for Carryduff. Now the support comes for her, and Dunloe now, the team here, drifting back. And they might be a little bit demoralised with all these attacks just breaking down. And then Carryduff are very fast on the break and very creative, because Sargent is there, and you know she's looking for Donnelly. And there's a lot of room because of so many players up there, and Sargent is through, and she's got a run on goal here as well, and she just overdid that solo, overcooked it, but there might still be a chance. No, it breaks down, but you just get the feeling that one of these will probably work for Carryduff, one of these moments, because they're getting up the field and they have a goal threat because there's less players there, and they move the ball very quickly. Whereas Dunloe, well, their goal came from a free. This is Emer Napier. She puts a good ball in there towards Donnelly, and she's through, and she's been tugged, but she might get it away, and she doesn't. But the referee, is he going to give a penalty here? He might do, and he does. It's a penalty for Carryduff after 14 and a half minutes. Well, what was I saying? There's a threat here from Carryduff every time they go forward, and it was Donnelly who was tugged, and it's a clear penalty. So 1-1 to 2 points, as it has been for a good 5 or 6 minutes, but now a golden opportunity for Carryduff. Now who's going to take it? It looks like the number 7 coming forward. It's Anna McCardle, 16-year-old. So Anna McCardle, number 7 for Carryduff, 16 years old, up against Anya Walsh, 15 years old, who saved a penalty in the semi-final. Can she do it again? Here comes Anna with her kick, and strikes it well, and strikes it true to the net. And the champions, the defending champions, are back in the lead after 15 minutes. Great penalty. Really nicely struck. That's why they brought her up from half back to take it. Well, you see the power on this, and the direction as well. Keeper unable to get that one. So Carryduff lead 1-2 to 1-1. I do feel it was coming, to be honest. Dunlow trying to get possession from the kick out, and they do. They get the short kick out off to Nicole Bonner Gillespie, and this is Tony Boyle. Now this game taking a new level of urgency. Really good from her, breaking through the lines, and there's the kick pass down into the corner. And she looks for it back again. Well, she's only 15, Tony Boyle, but what a talent she is. She's a really, really good player, just like her dad, Tony, as well, a full forward. But again, it breaks down. And that must be frustrating for Dunlow. Lots of endeavour and enterprise, but they keep running into trouble. Comes out to Yulita Boyle. Faced up by two players. Carryduff always seemed to manage to get two players putting pressure on the girl on the ball. And that was great work by Sophie Kerr. Gets it back to Ciara McLornan. Dunlow, though, I've got that one. That was a loose ball across the middle, and it's Eva Caulfield. Now, can they profit here? There's still an awful lot of Carryduff players back for them to get through. It's going to be very, very difficult for them all day. Caulfield again involved. Now, Dunlow have 3 or 4 players here, but they probably need to go together if they're going to make any progress here. Boyle again held up by 2 or 3 players. And maybe held up, but she actually does really well in a strange, unorthodox way to get away from them and win a free as well. Now, is the referee going to let this go? No, he's going to bring it back now for a free. And you see the pattern. The pattern has been firmly set for the way this game is going to be played, and you see the challenge that it is for Dunlow. They've had a few frees from this kind of distance, but they haven't really been able to get anywhere near the goal. But they did get a goal the last time the ball was kicked from here. The strong sun is in the kicker's eyes. She dropped it just in front of the post, but that one I think is going right and wide maybe, or is it just inside the post? Waiting for the signal. It's over the bar. Great score from Mia O'Donnell, and that levels the scores. 17.5 minutes in. And they're looking for another ball. That one must have gone over the fence into the next pitch beside us here at Naomh. When I was growing up in Tyrone, this was just Newtonstewart, St Eugene's, but now it's Naomh. I think the club has merged with Dregish from up the road, but fine facilities. And our thanks go from Ulster ladies to them for hosting this game, as we are, of course, in the 8th of December. Not many pitches still open, but it's in great nick. Good kick out from Lavery, finding Maeve Napier, who may have a player on her, but she got that rather comfortably. That's Grace Loughran. And Dunlow have won it back. That's good work by them. And that's the fullback, Ellie Ward, who is out there. And as we expect from Donegal, really good ball players. And knitting it together nicely. They get it again to Wards. Eva Caulfield making a bit of a break through the middle, but you just feel that the Dunlow players a little bit sort of confused at times. How do we get through here? There's a little weave that's worked. That's much better. That's brilliant. Alicia Boyle now, number 10. This is much better. And now they've created an extra player, and it's Eva Caulfield. This could be the lead if they can get through here. She feeds it in, but it needs to be accurate all the way, and it was just overplayed. But it might give them a little bit of hope. It's very hard getting through there, and contrast that with the way that Carryduff have 1 or 2 players up and loads of room at the other end, and they carry a real threat. They're more direct and creative when they get up there, but they just have that room up there. And Dunlow now filtering back, and even now when I'm looking off camera, Carryduff is still 4 or 5 defenders. You're just sitting back there. They've no intention of going forward. They're just going to sit in there and stay back, so they're just going to sort of stifle Dunlow every time they get past the 45 and leave it up to their fewer forwards to see what they can do. And that's a turnover for Carryduff, and they are good forwards. So nearly 20 minutes in, an entertaining game so far, and that's going to be a free. It's going to be a free in for Carryduff. Philip Conway, the referee from Armagh, spotting that one. Just checking again on your Facebook to check everything's okay, and it is, and if there's any comments. The lines person in there is Brendan Quinn, no relation. 15 is Ellie Sargent, who shouldn't have a problem here. As I say, there's a bit of a breeze And it's picking up just now as I speak, but going from left to right, maybe into her face, but nothing really strong. And that's a good score. Carryduff back in the lead. So Anya Walsh with a kick out again. Kicking into the bright sunshine. That's why she's got the cap on. Who's she going for? Oh, sort of disguised that one, but played it up the middle. But I think it's going to Carryduff, and indeed it is. It's possession for them rather easy as well for Emer Napier. This is Isa McCarran. Takes on her player, but overcarrying, says the ref. Well, he has been consistent about that. The problem is there's nobody really offering themselves forward. A lot of Dunloy players are back, and it's going to be an energy sapping kind of game up and down the field. This is the captain of Dunlow. Both captains are wearing number 8, Yulita, who's a sister of Tony at number 14. That's good work from her, but again, what's he? No, I thought it's not overcarrying this, but he has given a free to Dunlow. Game just in a bit of a lull at the minute. 22 minutes gone. Off we go again. This has been the pattern of the game. It's Dunlow taking the game to Carryduff. Carryduff soaking it up and then trying to turn them over and hit them on the break. And there's a hand in again for Carryduff. Can they win the ball back? No, they don't. Dunloy have scrapped for it, and this is Alicia Boyle doing really well and gets it to Mia O'Donnell, moving the ball through the hands really quickly and accurately this time. Are they going to get a free there? I thought there was a little bit of a tug. O'Donnell kicks in the end, but it drops easily for the goalkeeper. And Mia has been good from free so far, but that one, a team effort into the goalkeeper, just didn't quite connect. Dunlow getting that one back. That's good work by Emma Wallace, number 11, to turn it over. And a real scrap for possession, and as you see, it's a red ball. And he's ticking Ashley for the challenge from Aisling Wojcicek. She was number 4 last year, number 2 this year, but always a competitive corner back, I think you could say. And there's the block earlier on. I think this was one of the points from earlier on. It was. And this was Mia O'Donnell's effort that ended up with the goal. And what is that number? I think it was 12, which would be Rihanna McGrady, and then the penalty. Dispatched very comfortably by Anna McCardle. Those are 2 goals, if you're just joining us. We're good to go. 23.5 minutes gone. Sun shining brightly on the 8th of December in Newtonstewart and County Tyrone. But a cagey enough game. And Carryduff doing exactly what they do. Get in and win that ball, and look at the space that they have now, and look at the speed. Cara Donnelly is through the middle. Is she going to get there? She's putting pressure on her player, but she's fouled. And you just feel that one of these moments, if they get the right ball forward, they will have a real goal threat there. Where at the other end, I just don't see Dunlow being able to get through for a goal like that. So that sort of threat makes you think that sooner or later, on the law of averages, that Carryduff will prevail. But Dunlow sticking to their task well. 1-3 to 1-2, just a point behind, and they might have taken that at the start of the game against the defending champions. They have that experience of last year, and the girls, generally looking at the ages in the programme, are older. And they have that system they play, and it might work again. But no, that's well picked up instead by Emma Wallace for Dunlow. They certainly have grit and determination. It might open up here now for Boyle, and that's a good kick, but not just quite good enough, and well handled by Kiva Lavery. Good safe hands there. That could have been a tricky one, but Dunlow just trying to get through all the time and can't. And that one a foul, and she's obviously hurt herself there, the fullback Ellie Ward. That was a sore one, and she's just going to take a moment. And she is going to be ticked for that challenge on Cara Donnelly. So it's Donegal against Down. No Donegal winners ever off this particular tournament. Carryduff sticking to their task and their game plan, and it's working well for them so far. Naomh Napier puts it forward, but they have also given a lot of ball away, and that one has gone to Shola Ward. And Dunlow very good at running with the ball and supporting each other. This is their centre half back, Bonner Gillespie. Again, just offloading the ball. You need to offload it quickly, and a good kick pass will also take out players, of course, and that was the two sisters combining. This is Tony Boyle, and off she goes, being pursued by Ciara McLaurin. And again, good direct and sort of diagonal running and lots of opportunities, but this is where it's broken down a few times. It's very congested in there. It's a number 15. It is Ellie McGarvey. That's a great ball actually to Boyle and driven over the bar, and that's the best point of the game so far. That is how to beat the blanket defence. They work it and work it and work it and move the ball quickly, and a good finish. And there hasn't been that many good finishes so far. They had a goal from a free, and they had another free, and that is maybe only their second score from play, but a really good one to level the scores after 26.5 minutes. Sadly enough, it's low scoring for a game at this level, but that's down to the tactics, and that's the way it's played, and it was the same in the final last year. But it is maybe opening up a little bit. The second half could be very interesting, but Dunlow sticking to their task. This is Rihanna McCready over this one. She will go back to go forward, but that's a tricky enough one. They might even lose that ball. It's been spilled by Eva Caulfield, and Carryduff have it back. And it's their centre half forward, Asa McCarran, and off she goes. And there's lots of runs around her. Sargent is there as well, and she might find her as well. It's gone past the goalkeeper, and is that going to go in? No, it's going to go wide. If it hadn't touched anyone, it wouldn't be a goal anyway, but it might have taken a little bit of a hand, but it's turned out it's gone wide. I'm not sure what the referee has given, but that was very, very close. As I say, they have that goal threat all of the time, and it seems to be out for a 45, so there must have been a touch from the goalkeeper, but nervy moments there. And again, that's just what Carryduff do. They'll sit back, and then when they get the opportunity, they go for the throat. Maeve Napier, Carryduff captain, pops it to Cara Donnelly and says, off you go. Look at the speed of her. Goes inside her fullback, and if she doesn't get a score, she'll draw a free maybe, and that's a good effort, and it's dropped over the bar from Donnelly. Really good score, and I think she scored one of her right and now one of her left as well. Great to see that range of skills from young players these days. The full forward for Carryduff puts them ahead by a point. See a change actually being made, is it? Carryduff number 10, Grace Loughran, is going to the sideline. I'm not sure if that's a permanent switch or what's going on there, but she definitely has gone off. So a change for Carryduff, and 27 has gone on for Carryduff coming up to half time, just a couple of minutes away from half time. 27 is Hannah Casson. Now there's another delay here because there's a couple of Dunlow girls on their honkers, whatever that issue is, so a little bit of a lull here. So an entertaining game so far, an intriguing game, and I'd be interested to hear what you think, so feel free to leave a message there, or even tell me just where you're watching the game. I did see another of the Boyles watching, and I think they might be in Australia, so let us know where you are and where you're watching the game from, and maybe what time it is out there. This is Tony Boyle to her sister Yolita, now to Alicia Boyle, a cousin, and off they go looking for another score. This is brilliant, and they're getting through. Oh, and I was so close. Yolita Boyle strikes the woodwork. Well, there was one at the other end, struck the crossbar, so that levels thing up, but they're now getting to grips a little bit, you feel, with the short passes, and it actually hit the stanchion, I think, at the back, not the woodwork, but a close thing, and they are starting to get through Dunlow, and at least that will give them a little bit of hope. I was saying earlier on, they're maybe a bit frustrated, but they will feel now that they can get through, but it's the speed of passing and the support play that is so key. That's great kicking from the goalkeeper to find Roisin McKenna, and that's a few times Carryduff have done that. Been very good in the kickouts, and Dunlow coughing up possession that way. They haven't got close enough And when Carryduff get possession, they move the ball really fast through the hands, and they've got it now to Emer Napier. They have the forwards that can do damage. This is the sub, and she's laid it off, and it's Cara Donnelly again, and she just pops that over. That's her third point of the half. She carries a real threat, and that was a brilliant move from one end to the other, just like the Dunloe score a minute ago. Great quality of play in this Ulster Minor Club final. Carryduff now take a 2-point lead in added time at the end of the first half. Substitute making an impact there as well. Kick out goes long from Anya Walsh, and it's a good one. Or is it? I think that's McKenna getting in there to steal it away. No, I don't think it was actually. It might have been Wustachek. You can't quite see from here. The numbers are quite tricky to see, those white numbers on the yellowy gold band across the middle from a distance. This is Napier, I know that much, and that is going to go to the goalkeeper. She has it. That's Walsh. Feeds it out to Ava Caulfield. This is Ellie Ward. Her brother Aaron has just been called up by Jim McGuinness, also a fullback. So it runs in the family. And she does well under pressure. Carryduff working really hard here to try and stop Dunloe at source. But Dunloe persist and get it to Claire Diver. She's got support. Is there time for them to get another score at the end of this half? It's 1-5 to 1-3 in the game, pretty much mirroring last year's final against Lurgan. Again, been forced to play across, but then the drive through the middle is by Bonner Gillespie. And there's the shot from distance from McCready. And again, that was a little bit unwise from there. She maybe was looking for a better connection, but it was a waste at the end of all of that effort. So just the 4 scores in this half from Dunloe. 1 free at the start, 1 a goal from a free, and just a 2 from play. I wonder will the second half be a little bit different, or will that little bit of a breeze in their faces be tricky? Good kick out again, and that's 3 times at least that Carryduff have got clean possession in exactly the same position, at right half back position, but well won back by Tony Boyle for Dunloe to her sister Yulita. Off she goes. We're in the 3rd minute of added time. This is Alicia Boyle, who's seen a lot of ball in the game, but they need to give and go here. This is Mae O'Donnell, got a good left foot on her. Good kick pass as well. Over the bar is the call, but it's deflected out for a 45, and she just didn't get the connection there. So there might just be time for the 45. I'm not sure they'll be able to get through here for a score. Players looking a little bit jaded at the end of the half. It's been a tough half getting up and down the pitch. Most of the players getting up and down, and the ground is good, but it is still soft, of course, for this time of year. Ball played down into the corner. I think that might be Ellie McGarvey. Inside now to the goal scorer, but again, how many times have you seen Dunloe hit a kick like that and they're just outside the zone and just not finding their range? And that is maybe something that Tony Boyle will want to address at half time. They just need to get a little bit closer, but they do look a little bit demoralised, and last year in the final I did feel that Lurgan ladies gradually became demoralised with trying to break down the Carryduff system, and in the second half Carryduff broke up and got a goal or 2 and killed the game. This game seems to be going along similar lines. So it's half time here at Naomh in Newtonstewart, and it's Dunloe coming off in the red jerseys, trailing by 2 points to the defending champions Carryduff, 1-5 to 1-3. We will be back when they are back in about 6 or 7 minutes. Well, Carryduff are out for the second half, but no sign of Donegal yet. They're still in their dressing room and have been there for quite a while. As you might hear, I've also got a little lozenge for my throat, so apologies for that. There's Noel Napier going over to the huddle. As I say, they've been out there quite a while. The referee is over to the right, and now Donegal are reappearing for the second half. Paige McGarvey on the YouTube live chat says up on Clochan Liath. Ronan McCullough says come on Carryduff. And over on Facebook, Anne Cunningham, well done girls, give it your all. Siobhan Gallagher says come on Donegal. And before that, Irene McGeever says come on Donegal, doing well, watching from New Jersey. Thanks for that message. Laura Donnelly, come on Donegal ladies, especially Alicia Boyle. And just checking up through the messages. That's about it. Big crowd on watching the game. Martina says hi Jerome. Hi Martina, one of our loyal viewers. Great to watch this Ulster ladies final here online. That's all the messages so far. Nearly ready to start then. Carryduff in the lead by 2 points. What can Donegal do in this second half? You see the number 1 in the foreground. That's Tony Boyle, the manager. So it took a long time at half time. It'll be interesting what they say. Can they do anything different tactically or just move the ball quicker? Sun has just gone in for the moment. It's Naomh in Newtonstewart, and it is Donegal in the red, playing from right to left against the defending champions. Carryduff from just outside Belfast. You might have heard that change. Isabel Sweeney, number 4 for Donegal, replaced by 28. And that 28 is Rachel Wallace. So a change for Donegal. A few positional ones I'm looking at off camera as well. And Nicole Bonner Gillespie has switched over to right half back. So no changes for Carryduff as we get underway. Philip Conway throws the ball in. We have 30 minutes to go. 2024 Ulster Minor Club Final here at Naomh Club. This is Roisin McKenna for Carryduff. They have a 2-point lead. They are very lively going forward, and that's Cara Donnelly playing a dangerous low ball in there, but it goes all the way through to the goalkeeper Anya Walsh. And that is Rachel Walsh, the girl who came in, and she's fouled there, so she's come into a defensive position. Might be a like for like swap at left cornerback. She's certainly on the left hand side. The instruction there you may have heard is for her to go wide, to give an option, but Carryduff nearly got that one back. Well, they did get it back, but illegally so. So what have Donegal got in this second half? Popping the ball over, but a mistake there. The ball just bounced out of her hands and Carryduff there to steal it back sharpishly. Is that a word? Sharpishly? Just made that one up. So Carryduff 2 points ahead, but that's good working back by Bonner Gillespie for Donegal. But Carryduff just as quickly win it back. 2, 3, 4 players there. No foul. They're very disciplined, forcing the ball to come out again, and it does. To the captain, Napier. To the number 7, McCardle, who got the goal from a penalty for Carryduff, but that one's broken down. Well, this is what happened in the first half, and now Donegal are doing to Carryduff what Carryduff did to them. This is Rihanna McCready, their goal scorer. Hand in though from McKenna to win that one back, and McKenna then storms forward and goes for her own shot and doesn't get it, but it's going to be brought back for a free. So all the early pressure from Carryduff. And you get the feeling, or I do anyway, in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the second half, if Carryduff put on the pressure and get a goal or a score or two, they could get away from Donegal. And if they get a lead, Carryduff will sit back, I imagine, and make it very, very difficult, even more difficult for Donegal. But from a Donegal point of view, they need to get a score early in this half and press up the field, but Carryduff starting the second half on top. We message from Megan Doherty. Hiya Megan, Down County captain. Says come on Carryduff, let's go Carryduff. Great first half it was indeed. A few legends watching. I see Geraldine McLaughlin keeping an eye on it as well. Hiya Geraldine. Great to see the support for these games. Kathleen Doherty says come on Dunlow. Colette McKee says come on Carryduff, as that kick goes very high but just comes off the post. Very unlucky for Carryduff there. She struck it extremely well, and that is as close as you can get to a score at the start of the second half, but it remains scoreless 3 minutes in. Dunlow really need to get something here, and they need to get up the field, and that's why their manager Tony Boyle is very agitated just down to my left here. He wants more movement and he wants more effort. That's a good kick out. If it sticks, does it stick? Well, a lot of times the ball is just not stuck, but this time they have it through Alicia Boyle, but she's under serious pressure there, and eventually the decision is over carrying, and it goes for Carryduff. Well, Carryduff pressing and get a good ball in to their dangerous full forward there, Donnelly, and off she goes again. That's an interesting ball across, and it could end up in the net, and it has ended up in the net. What an amazing goal from Cara Donnelly. She scored a goal in the final last year, and she's got another one, and this an absolute cracker of a goal. Whether she meant it exactly, I don't know. I think she did. What a super goal, and that could be the start of the end for Carryduff and for Dunlow, because that could make all the difference. Well taken on the kick out from Ulita Boyle, and Dunlow really need to do something now. Now it's a 5-point gap. I did feel it was coming, that goal. A good tough challenge there from the Carryduff player, trying to get it back, and again it's spilled, and they do get it back. And Carryduff's number 27, who came on in the first half, Hannah Casson there, turning that one over, and I just feel that the pressure that Carryduff are putting on Dunlow is beginning to tell. Donnelly, not a surprise that she got the goal. And Dunlow just working so hard at this point, trying to get up the field. Just felt they looked a little bit jaded after all the effort. It takes a lot of energy to attack, and that's what they did in the first half without a lot of reward. As you see, Carryduff not diving in, but they just have a very strong unit across the middle. They all know where each other are going, and they're just forcing Dunloy back and to the sides all of the time. This is Rihanna McCready. Now she is fouled there, but again, where do they go with it? And there's not a lot of players offering themselves. It's like they're a little bit tired, so it's individual efforts here and there. They do that now though, and get it back to McCready from Bonner Gillespie, and they're forced to go back out again to the number 18 Diver, who's wearing 18, but she started the game. Here they come then with Ava Caulfield, and this is Wallace coming forward. That's good play, and then the hand goes in and a clear foul. Slapping in, says the referee. And a lot of the frees given away are around this distance, possibly just outside the scoring zone, but I said that at the start, and Maya O'Donnell put it over the bar. There is a bit of a breeze, but it's very slight. So it's within her range, and remember the goal came from exactly this kind of range. It dropped in, but she seems to have got that high, but I think she's pulled it, and she's pulled it to the right, and it's gone wide. They could have done with that just to settle them at the start of the second half, 6 minutes in. Gavin Gallagher on Facebook says great finish, Cara Donnelly. And plenty of people watching on YouTube as well, enjoying this game, courtesy of Ulster ladies, making it available free to watch. They've had so much joy carried off in this right half position from the kickouts, and then good kick ball into the forwards. The ball travels faster than any player, and they've got it up into the forwards. Well, Cara Donnelly might debate that. She is nearly as fast as the ball travelling on its own from a kick pass. She is speedy. Roisin McKenna, her influence is growing on the game, but that kick has gone to the left and has gone wide. So Carryduff 2-5 to 1-3. The goalkeeper is Anya Walsh, and all the players up the middle. There's one option way over to the right now, but it's a bit of a distance, And you see there's no movement. They need movement. So she ends up going high to the right, but that could be one for Carryduff rather easily. And it is. So Dunloy a little bit devoid of ideas at the minute. And that's a ball into Donnelly again. And if she had that in her arms, that could have spelt the end for Dunlow. Now, this is a chance for Dunlow because Carryduff have a lot of players in advanced positions, but they work very hard to win it back, and that's one of the features of their play. They turn over quite a lot. They put pressure on the ball and they win it back, and they're going to get a free there as well from that pressure. Again, it was all about the turnover, but Dunlow just no movement from the kick out as well. Whether they're a little bit tired or a little bit frustrated, the energy isn't there. 8.5 minutes into the second half. Now the last one hit the post very high up on the near side, and she's put this one extremely high as well, but I think this one might drop over, and it does. Really well executed by Ellie Sargent. Another point for Carryduff. Helen Hughes says, come on Carryduff, watching from County Westmeath. Great coverage of the game, thank you. And Emer Walsh watching from Athlone, proud of her little sister Anya Walsh in goals for Dunlow. There you go. She's having a good game as well, and that's a good kick out from her as well. But is it going to stick? No. Roisin McKenna somehow, even though the ball was behind her, she managed to get it. And Carryduff have owned the first 9 minutes of this half. They've been very, very good. They have a goal and a point added, and that's why they lead now 2-6 to 1-3. Frustration on the Dunlow sideline, and that's another free. That's all Carryduff in the first 9.5 minutes now, and Dunlow struggling just to get up the field, never mind to get a score. She puts it very high, but to the left this time. Wide ball, but it's double scores. It is 12 plays 6. Shout is for the players to look for the ball, but there's not much movement, as you can see. A little bit of movement now, but if Dunlow move, Carryduff just go with them. And they're very good in the 1-to-1s and getting 2-on-1s as well, but that's better. That's Tony Boyle getting possession, but as you see, the pressure on her. Pressure on her right away, and stolen back by Naomh Napier. Just pickpocketed that one and got it away from her. And it's going to be yet another free, and this time it's for Carryduff again. They've won a lot of frees, and Tony Boyle getting very agitated on the sideline here. And he feels that a lot of the pressure has come illegally, but Carryduff just getting in and around their players, their opponents, and then the kick goes in, but that's going to be easily one for Dunlow. Now you have the chance here through Ulita Boyle, their captain. Immediately she's bottled up with 2 challenges. Now she is fouled, but forced into mistakes, and it will be brought back. But you just sense that Dunlow, very like Lurgan ladies in the final last year, get to the point where they just can't figure this one out. And that looks like where Dunlow are now. They haven't had a shot at goal. They can't even get into the opposition half the way things are going. 11 minutes in. And again the turnover. Hard work around the middle, and Roisin McKenna always available and dictating the play along with her captain. Dunlow try to put pressure on, but Carryduff just have all the answers. McKenna plays a lovely ball into Isa McCarran in space, and off goes Isa. And that's a great dig. Oh my goodness, what a great strike from her, and she puts it over the bar. A smashing point by Isa McCarran, related to the great late James McCartan from the 1960s, and a niece of wee James McCartan. Great score. It's 2-7 to 1-3, and it's become a little bit one-sided, I have to say, in the second half. The cry is to look for the ball, but the problem seems to be that Carryduff just are very strong all over the field, and they put the press on, and they're just in their faces all of the time. Did I say Dunloy a few times? Apologies for that. I know I said it once. It's Dunlow, of course. Sorry about that. Pressure on the ball all of the time. Again, 2-3 players forcing turnovers, and they've done it again. Pauline McCullough says, come on, Carryduff. they're certainly doing the business here and looking like they are going to repeat Breida's feat of a back-to-back success in this tournament, the only club to do it. That ball played through to Donnelly. She's away again. She's brilliant at getting in behind the defence. Blocked down on that occasion, but always dangerous and nippy in there. 45 for Carryduff. It is one-way traffic. So just to give you the history, if you didn't get it earlier, this competition has been going since January the 2nd, 2012, when a certain Geraldine McLaughlin, who I think is watching, played for Termon in the final up at St Paul's. That was the very first one. That's 12 years ago, well, nearly 13 years ago now. And since then, no Donegal team has won it. Breida from Belfast have won it 3 times, including a back-to-back, the only team to do that. Quite a few teams have been in it 2 years in a row, but Breida, the only team to win it twice. But Carryduff looked like they're going to repeat that feat. Breida have actually won it 3 times in total. And those two clubs beside each other on the county down side of Belfast. So a remarkable achievement for that area if you combine them. This looks like it's going to be 5 Ulster Minor trophies since, I think it was 2016 or so. Breida won their first. So in 8-9 years, 5 to go to that one area is quite remarkable. There's another connection between them as well, because Naomh Napier and Evie McHugh, who's in the subs, Naomh, who's the centre half back for Carryduff, they both actually play camogie for Breida, their neighbouring club. So they play camogie with Breida and ladies football with Carryduff. This is Dunloy, or I've said it again, Dunlow. That's Tony Boyle. They really need to get a score here, Dunloy. But look how many Carryduff players are there, and the Carryduff players aren't pressing here. Do you see the way they're just moving as a group from side to side, and they're just making it difficult and following a few players, but they've so many players, they've overloaded that area. Been watching too much men's football over the years, I think, but the new rules have changed there. They might have to change here as well. This is Mia O'Donnell, and Dunloy just been forced out all the time. 2-3 players, and there goes a tackle in, and that one a little bit high, and it was by Asa McCarran. Now, what's the referee deciding here? Having a word, certainly, and he has his little book out as well. The referee, Philip Conway from Armagh. This could be a yellow for Isa. Could be sin bin for 10 minutes. We've 15 to go, and indeed they are down to 14 for 10 minutes. But they have a big lead, 7-point lead, but that's a big lead at this level and the way this game has been played. Dunlow from Ulita Boyle, nicely played in. This is better, but so congested in there. Can they get away? They do. It's Rihanna McCready who got the goal, and there's a foul, but it's been brought all the way back out here. And I don't know whether it's deliberate, but Carryduff seem to manage to give away frees in a certain area, just a bit of distance from the goal that makes it a bit tricky. They did get caught out with a goal from it in the first half, but overall it's been a very disciplined performance within the system that they play for Carryduff. It worked last year, and it looks like it's going to work again. So Mia O'Donnell, she scored the first point of the game from a position like this. A goal came from her second kick. That one is going, oh, well taken by the goalkeeper. She has very safe hands, Lavery. That's not the first time she's caught the ball under her crossbar. Now the effect of that means that Dunlow still haven't got a score in the second half. For all that effort to get up there, they still just didn't quite get close enough. And Carryduff have bags of energy, the team that are ahead, and they've plenty of subs to come on as well, and they're moving the ball really quickly, and Dunloy have done it again. Dunlow are drifting all their players back and trying to get challenges in, but it's very tiring for them. They definitely look a bit jaded, and there's a brilliant crossfield ball all the way to the centre half back, Naomh Napier, and she is going to nip inside. She's got support over, and she takes the score herself, and in those 60 seconds you may have seen the losing and the winning of the game. Dunlow very frustrated at one end without a score in 17 minutes in this second half, and hit at the other end for another point. That takes it to 2-8 to 1-3. Basically a mirror image, this game, of last year's final. A little bit of a hold up, but off we go now. The goalkeeper comes to this side for a change, and that's a better kick out because it's found her fullback, Ellie Ward, and a lot of room, unusually. Ulita Boyle, pressure on her, but she goes through 2 tackles and then goes for the big boot of a ball into the forwards, but they need to get out in front, but instead it's the Carryduff defender who does brilliantly to get out in front, and really the Donegal forwards needed to be a bit sharper there, and it was Anna McCardle who came out, and it was she who got the penalty in the first half for her team as well. McKenna for Carryduff. You have a firm grip on this game. Up they come again. John Donnelly, I'm just checking, just looking on your messages. I look down for a second. John Donnelly says, come on, Carryduff. Now, Dunlow, they need something pretty special, and it was a close hand in there, I think, from Washachek that just put her player off. And you have to admit that that is good, disciplined tackling by Carryduff. They just get close enough and just put their players off. How many times have you seen Dunlow players just spill the ball when you think they're about to catch it? That's down to the pressure. And again, it's spilled. Now, I don't think that was down to the pressure that time, but she did spill it. Ellie McGarvey, but off she goes now. And again, her player just there all the time, and then another player waiting, and they've turned that one over Carryduff, and that is classic Carryduff. So many players to come out with the ball. They pass the parcel. They give it to McKenna. She has 5, 6, 7. It's like a rugby game. They have 7 or 8 players across in a line, always ready to give support. Dunlow. I've got a lot of players back themselves now, but it's about energy at this stage and being able to move the ball. Sophie Kerr is doing that, but over carrying, free to Dunlow. Getting to the stage now where we need to start thinking about player of the match, and to be honest, I'm not really sure. Thinking Cara Donnelly would be certainly a leading contender, and Roisin McKenna would be my 2 so far. Who else do you think? Help me out here. I have to select this. If you have any contenders for player of the match, feel free to message there on the Facebook or on the live chat on YouTube. It's more that it's a team effort from Carryduff. Look at the way they play. 5, 6, 7 players around here, and they're just getting around the player, and again it's over carrying, and lots of frustration for Dunlow, but Carryduff doing their job. But yeah, more of a team effort for Carryduff rather than individuals, so it's kind of hard to pick out individuals. But Cara's obviously carried a huge threat up front, and this girl here has put in an awful lot of work around the middle, Roisin McKenna. So those 2 for me have been standouts so far. And there's McKenna again getting it. How many times have they caught Dunlow in possession? Donnelly. Elusive. Versatile. Gets it to Sargent, and available there again. She's maybe going to seal this award the way she's playing there, but McKenna takes over, and now up here. Crossfield ball just about gets there, and it gets to Ciara McLornan. They might get in here to finish the job. Carryduff. Oh, and that's gone astray though. And it's a chance for Dunlow to transition through Diver. But again, look at the pressure. 1, 2 Carryduff players coming in, battling for it. And Dunlow get the decision in the end. But we're now 21 minutes into this half. And it's a credit to Carryduff that Dunlow have not scored yet in this half. They really have come out in the second half and tightened up and put the pressure on right from the throw-in.
Let's go again, come on!
Ulita Boyle. It's going to take something special now in the last 8.5 minutes. That's a brilliant run from Ulita. She tries to play it through, but Naomh and appear in the right place at the right time to get the block in. Gillian McElroy says number 11 player of the match for Carryduff before she gets sin-binned. Fiona Ella says come on Carryduff. Yeah, she's been good, Issa McCarran, in patches, but for me, Donnelly has carried a big threat, and McKenna has put in a huge shift in the middle of the field. Good work here by Tony Boyle. She's had a great game actually for Dunlow, but that ball has gone astray again, and Carryduff always close to their opponent and always there to pinch it away and break their hearts, and that's exactly what they've done in the second half. That's good work by Maria McLornan. Carryduff coming again. They really look to have this one in the bag. It's not much of a breeze in the second half, so you can't blame that for Dunloe not scoring in the second half. It's just been constant pressure from Carryduff. And as I said at the start, their age profile is a bit older, makes a difference. And they've a lot of fine players out there, and they have the experience of last year. Ellie Sargent doing well and keeping possession, and she's going to get her free as well, and it's going to be moved in a little bit as well, and that's another sign of the Dunloe frustration, and they look just a bit jaded, and I am getting flashbacks to last year, I have to say. Exactly the same thing happened to Lurgan ladies last 10-15 minutes, very demoralised, and Carryduff just finished them off. Another contender for Asa McCarran for player of the match, that from Gavin Dugan, and he also says Anna McCardle is in the running. Good shout, yeah, she got the penalty and she's had a good game. Keep those contenders coming for me. They'll be coming for me in the next couple of minutes, asking me for my vote. So you have a chance to make an impact there, or have an input. A little bit of a lull, but now we're going to have the free. Should be easy enough, and is. Another point for Carryduff. They go to 15, 2-9-6. There's 9 points in it, or 3 goals. It's Carryduff's to lose. Sub for Dunloe looks to be coming on. Amy Timoney has been lined up to come in. Not at this stoppage though, because we're off and running again. And on the break, it's Dunloe winning possession. Centre half forward is Emma Wallace. Yulita Boyle again, not giving up. She makes progress down the left, nips inside 2 players too. That's brilliant from Yulita Boyle. They really need something big here. They need a goal. Are they going to get it? That's great play, although it's just gone a little bit too far to the right, and just at the last minute the move broke down. Dunloe lining up 2 subs to come on. Actually, number 17 is here as well, Millie Hanlon. They still haven't scored in the second half, not even a point, and we're 25 minutes in. That was a golden opportunity. I suppose they might have got a point, but they felt they had to go for goal there, and they weren't that far away. But Carryduff just very good at getting the numbers back. There's a ball over the top, and Donnelly there just leaned into her player a little bit and read that beautifully, and off she goes. She gets in behind so often. Very creative, and she's now showing her fighting abilities as well to go for the ball, but has given away a free. And she deserves a rest. So into the last 5 minutes, Carryduff almost there. Dunloe anxious to get their players on. They're still waiting here on the sideline. Signal been made now, and a yellow card there for Cara Donnelly. The referee has penalised her there. Now I wonder, was there a couple of ticks against her name, but Cara, who is my contender for player of the match, now sent to the line, and that's 2 Carryduff players who have been yellow carded. Ed McQuillan says Asa McCarran for player of the tournament. Fantastic player. I'm glad she's on our team. Well, a lot of votes coming in for Asa for player of the match.
Representing the Dunloe team, number 17, Millie Hanlon replacing number 15, Ellie McGarvey.
So you've just heard the 2 changes. 2 players I told you about coming in. One of the players coming off is Ellie McGarvey. Didn't catch the other one, to be honest. 3.5 minutes to go. Dunloe will keep going. The other player to come off was Shola Ward. That's an interesting ball. Nice ball to the centre half forward, Emma Wallace. Support is here, but again the ball is spilled, and that's by the sub who's just come in. So many handling errors today from Dunloe right from the start of the game. I even tried not to say it there and it still came out. I've done too much of the Antrim Championship, I think. Cameraman's laughing at me. Everybody's laughing, sure, why not? This is Maeve Napier, the captain for Carryduff. Roisin McKenna now. She sees a player way over on her left, and she's dictated the play a lot, Roisin McKenna. Nice ball down into the corner. Dunlow ball, but a foul. And a referee's going to tick for that as well. Well, they have a 2 player sin bin today, Carryduff. Maybe the ticks just added up. They're also looking to bring a couple of players on, a couple of subs over that far side. Can't see the numbers now, but Carryduff trying to bring on a couple of more players towards the end of this game. Give them a run for the last few minutes. I don't think the result is in doubt. Pressure being exerted on the Dunlow players, and once again Carryduff have done it, and they're through. It's a 1-on-1, and surely Ellie Sargent is going to finish the job, and she does. And Carryduff have done exactly what they did last year. It is a replica of the performance last year. They have soaked up the pressure and they have hit them on the break, and they finished the job. It was Cara Donnelly last year, it's Ellie Sargent this time. It's Carryduff's once again. Now 2 subs coming on for Carryduff. That looks like, again, it's very hard to see the white on that yellow band from a distance. Was it 16 possibly for Carryduff, which would be Cara Casson. Number, what's that number going off? 5 is it for Carryduff? That would be Maria McLaurin. We'll get confirmation from it off it here in a second, I think. And they can't tell, actually. Their radios aren't working, so they don't know either. But a couple of changes for Carryduff right at the end of this game. From the kick-out, great battling for Carryduff. And that's their captain, Maeve Napier. Brilliant work by her. This is Naomh Napier, her sister, one of 3 sisters. Over carrying once again. So this game fizzling out a little bit. We know who's going to win it, but Dunlow fighting to the end. Another foul. And just the pressure being exerted by Carryduff all the way up the pitch. Very strong pressure. And they've just stifled Dunlow, so much so that with 5 seconds to go in the second half, they still haven't got a single score in the second half. Can they break that? No, that's good work. I think that was the number 7 again, Anna McCardle. Good ball played across the field, but Dunlow get it back. Now, can they get up and get a score? Diver, nice ball popped over the top to Mia O'Donnell. And Mia a long way from goal. There's no way through, so she has to go back to Diver. And she's going to have to go back as well. And Carryduff are so adept at just sitting in there and waiting and then applying the pressure at the right time. Dunlow have tried everything. They've tried every way to try and get through. Every angle they've tried, but Carryduff look like they've been playing this way for years. The system prevails, and again, no way through. They battle in twos and threes to force them back, and it's very, very effective. And you feel that Carryduff are going to be a serious threat to Breda's domination at senior level in years to come when all this comes through. That's Naomh Napier. No, rather, it's the other number 6, sorry, Nicole Bonner Gillespie. Now it is Emma Wallace. Again, a hand goes in and gives away a free, an opportunity here for Dunlow to at least get a score so they don't go the entire half without a score. Chance here for Mia O'Donnell. So we're nearly done. No point going for goal, it'll not make a difference. Actually, Mia's not taking this one. She's handing it to Rihanna McCready. Carryduff running on a few more subs. Again, giving players a game, letting them have a run so they can say they played in it. And they go short to Mia O'Donnell. Maybe they are trying to work it in for a goal. McCready is there, but the referee wasn't ready. So they didn't wait for the whistle. And they have to go back and try that again. But Carryduff now know what they're at. So 63rd minute. 1-3 for Dunlow. That's what they had at half time. And they do go short. They're going to try and work it in here at Dunlow. That's Nicole Bonner Gillespie. She's had a good game as well, by the way, for her team. This is McCready. got their early goal. Goal on a point early on, but since then they've only scored 2 points. A lot of balls wasted and kicked in short in the closing stages of the first half. This is Yolita Boyle. They just cannot get close. McCready again, moving the ball from side to side, this time to Alicia Boyle. They just cannot find a way through. Even at this stage, Carryduff have 14 players behind the ball. And they prevail again. Well, different year, same performance by Carryduff, same structure. 64th minute of the game. And Carryduff go forward again. One Dunlow player on the ground, but Carryduff persist again and over carrying. How many times have we seen that? He's certainly been consistent on that, the referee. So we are nearly there. And that final whistle signals a little bit of history for Carryduff. They are only the second team to win back-to-back in this tournament. The previous team to do it was their dearest and nearest rivals, Breda in Belfast. So that area in Belfast has brought 5 of these wins. They have won it 5 times and they have brought it back to that small area. What are they doing right in Breda and Carryduff? I'm not quite sure, but what an achievement for Breda and Carryduff to win 5 times in the last 8-9 years of this. It's Carryduff's day today, back-to-back, only the second team to do it, and a very accomplished performance, it has to be said. They replicated last year's performance, exact same structure, and it worked a treat, and if it works once, you may as well do it again, and that's exactly what they've done. Donegal teams still without a single win in this competition, and it's going to Down for the 5th time. It's the 2024 Ulster Minor Club final, and it's been won by Carryduff. And maybe when you look back, their toughest game was actually against Clonairin in the preliminary round. They had home advantage and they won by just 1 point. Since then, they've had a few easier wins, and today ended up easy. They were leading at half time and they kept Dunlow scoreless in the entire second half. So from January the 2nd, 2012 to today, December the 8th, 2024. St Paul's won it, Calichel, Shane O'Neill's, Eastern Gales, Breda 3 times, Errigal Kieran, Carrickmore, Lurgan, and now Carryduff back to back. The captain last year was Shan O'Neill. The captain this year is Maeve Napier. She's at Queen's University, as is Grace Loughran. Her sisters were Niamh at number 6, Emer at number 13, and their dad Noel part of the management along with Jared Sargent. 9 players started the final last year, and look at the smiles on the Carryduff faces. They are champions again. And overall, a great hug there. Overall, you have to say that they really deserved it. From the goalkeeper right out to Anna McCardle there, and they're having a little hug. Anna, who dispatched the penalty brilliantly in the first half. So it's been years in the making, and credit to the Carryduff club for what they have done. Now the teams are being asked to come over for the presentation, and we're going to try and catch a little bit of that presentation of the player of the match and of the cup to Maeve Napier. I did listen to you. I did listen to your suggestions for player of the match, and I was leaning towards Cara Donnelly, and then she got a yellow towards the end. It shouldn't preclude her, but it did swing me a little bit. Lorraine Tumblety says well done Carryduff. Julie Mullen, well done Carryduff. So those messages coming in on the Facebook. And another one from Brendan Kerr, well done Carryduff. Indeed. So we are getting close to the presentation. That's Jerry Doherty in the foreground, the Ulster LGFA president. I think we're ready. Carryduff coming over, and Dunlow still out in the middle, so we're a couple of minutes away from them.
On behalf of Ulster Council, I want to congratulate both teams on an excellent display of football here today. The minor competition is one of our best competitions, and in true fashion, both teams served up a great display of football here today. We commiserate with Clochan Liath, who played an excellent match, but in the end they were pipped by Carryduff 2-1. want to thank all those people who helped us put on their matches today. I want to thank first of all the Naomh club, the local club here, for the use of their excellent facilities. They were very happy to oblige and help us, and we are very glad of their support. Thank you very much to Naomh. I also want to thank all the officials who helped put on the match today, referee, linespersons, persons, post official, umpires and so on. And I also want to extend a warm word of thanks to all my colleagues in the Ulster Council for their efforts to put on the matches today. As I said, this minor championship is one of our best competitions and we're delighted to run it each year. It's also the duty of the Ulster Council to award a player of the match, the most valuable player today, and that award goes to the Carryduff number 11, Isa McCarran.
Conditions over the weekend, but it's still brilliant, so thanks for hosting us. Then I'd like to thank the officials, the referee, he's did brilliant today. Great communications on the pitch, so well done. I'd like to thank them below, he's a brilliant side, so strong, and it was a really tough match trying against you today. It's always hard to lose these ones, but we will come back stronger. So 3 cheers for Donegal. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! And I'd like to thank our club. You have supported us so well throughout the year. We've had S&C from Jarlath and Connor, brilliant coaches, and just so much support from all our team and parents. And just all the way through, he's brought us to where we are. I'd like to share with you too. She's our coach, my first coach.
Noel Napier is with me here. Oh no, he's just a wee second, Noel. We're on the camera here. If you just come round a wee bit, what do these scenes mean? There was a lot of emotion in that speech there by your daughter, the captain, as obviously has gone through an awful lot, and this means an awful lot.
Yeah, I suppose to win another title is brilliant. To do it back to back. There's been a lot going on in the club this year. The likes of Delia is here today. Delia started this journey with them, 10 years ago, and for her to be here today, unwell, but here, and to see them clinch 2 in a row, it's phenomenal. And I suppose you can see the emotion because of that, because it means so much to them, so much to them, and she's been such part of the group and such part of the club. I suppose it makes you realise when you win something like this, it's not about a set of coaches or a set of players, it's the whole club and everyone who's coached this group at any age all the way through, everyone who's created the pitches for them. It belongs to them, it belongs to everyone who's been involved, everyone who's coached them at school this level, everyone who's coached them in all our sports. It belongs to the whole lot of them, so it's massive.
And it was a beautiful thing for your daughter of that age to be able to have the awareness and to talk about that.
Absolutely, I suppose, yeah, I'm very proud of her, but yeah, it was brilliant Jerome. Yeah, I think she's aware, gratitude is important because the players in the field deliver, but so much goes in on the big day and bring it all together, and it's not this year, it's 8-10 years work, isn't it really?
And to do 2 in a row to emulate Breda, I mean, that's 5 of these trophies that have gone to that area.
I think, Jerome, the girls are tired hearing about Breda from yourself. So yeah, no, brilliant. Breda, that's a brilliant Breda side. They won 3 out of 4. To win 2 back-to-back is phenomenal. So yeah, massive.
Could you do me a favour and bring Maeve over, or maybe Isa, who got player of the match, or if you can get both, that'd be great. Thank you very much. You can never be tired of hearing of Breda. Breda have won it 3 times. Just saying. I've been told to be careful. Right, we'll try and get one more word here if we can. This is Maeve, I think, coming our way, hopefully. Great celebrations for our local club, local rivals, I should say. Local club rivals. Here's Maeve coming now. She's been held up for a photograph, of course, but she's on her way. She's definitely on her way. No? Come on, Maeve. Okay, well, we get Maeve first anyway. Maeve, I think she's trying to... Yeah, she's got the cup going. Maeve, come here. We're just on the camera here, Maeve. Now, we've got your speech there. That was emotional.
I know. It's been such hard work to get here, and I just feel like when you think of all the things that have brought us here, it's just amazing. So.
Well, what about all those things? What have been those things? I mean, you had a lovely mention for one of your former coaches here.
Yeah, no, it's just... she's been brilliant, and she's just been supporting us all the way. She's over there. She's been to all the matches and all, and it's just brilliant. She's Ace's mum, so no, it's brilliant, yeah.
And was she one of your first coaches?
Yeah, she was my first coach from under 8s, so a while back, but she coached me, and it's really an accumulation of all the coaches and everyone. You pick up different things from each one, so she's important to get us here today, as well as all the other coaches who've had us.
And talking about those coaches, they got you playing in a certain way, I have to say, because your performance today, the way you played, just replicated last year. It was like deja vu.
Well, I suppose we've been playing for ages together, so we just have a pattern of play. I suppose we know each other so well, but yeah.
And what about this girl, Isa, player of the match?
Absolutely brilliant. She was superb. She was so good the last game too. She's just brilliant.
And you didn't have Isa in the starting 15 last year, so she's come on and improved.
I know, she's come on this year and she's been unreal. We could have used her last year too.
All right, Isa, congratulations on winning player of the match. Were you a bit surprised?
Yeah, I didn't think a yellow card was going to do too much for me there.
Well, Cara got one as well.
I know, we're not too good with it.
Well, who do you think was a contender for player of the match if not you?
I thought everyone, including our captain, just all over the pitch, everyone was fighting their own battles against their markers, and I don't think it was one girl that won the match. I think it was everyone put the work in together. The team just worked so hard throughout training sessions, and every match you could pick someone else because everyone just gives their all every time.
Maeve, thanks very much. We'll let you go. We'll just stick with Isa here for a wee second. Isa, it was a very emotional speech there by Maeve, wasn't it? And a very emotional day for all of you.
Yeah, Maeve's always good at the speeches, likes to get the waterworks going on us all. I think it's hard because this team's been together since under 8s, as she said. We've grown up together, and this year some of us are leaving for uni, and we don't know if we'll still be a team from now on. so it's like hard because it's our last big match together, so it was an important one to win.
And as I say, an emotional one. Your mum was over there and she got a lovely mention as well. I'm sure you're delighted that she was just here today to see this.
Yeah, it's important for her. She loves the football. She's grown up with it, so it's nice to see her see us win and do well.
And I suppose that says it all. It's a family effort, isn't it?
Yeah, the team isn't run by just the 15 on the pitch. It's all the background people that help out, and families make a lot of commitment to this sport with all the trainings. I know they have to give up a lot to drive us there.
And what does it mean to win this 2 in a row, to be the first in Sprita to win a back-to-back?
I think it just shows that we can do it, and it'll inspire the younger ones coming up to want to get where we've got to. And I think it's important to remember the hard work it does take, and it's not easy to do it twice, so it's amazing that we could. And
talk to me about your managers then, your coaches, mainly the same group as last year, but they deserve credit for the way they got you playing.
Yeah.
And may have mentioned something about 200 training sessions?
Yeah, we've been training since the end of January last year, so the girls are laughing because we haven't stopped since. Our coaches have been with us for I don't know how many years. I can't remember the last time I had new coaches, and it's just great to show that the commitment they've given to us has really pulled through and helped us win. We wouldn't be here today without them and all their hard work and making sure our training sessions were helping us to improve.
All right, I'll let you go because it's freezing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much, Asa. That is Asa, and that is Carryduff winners again. Second year in a row, back-to-back for Carryduff in the Ulster Minor Club competition here. Champions for the second year, and very deserved as well. Well done to them, and thanks to Ulster ladies for making this whole occasion available on a live stream for everyone to view and to showcase the fantastic talents that are out here. Be sure Carryduff are going to be a force in years to come, and down and in Ulster at senior level. But today is all about the minors, back-to-back for Carryduff. Well done to them. We hope you have enjoyed the coverage from Newtonstewart. From me, it's goodbye.